Okay, so stripping stage is all complete, so I'll show you a little bit of a playback of just in time lapse of pulling that all apart. It was pretty straightforward, really. Just there's a lot of plugs and stuff you can get to pretty easily, and it all sort of comes apart not too bad. They think with these bikes on pulling them apart, it makes it easy. So the other little thing I had to do was an outlet for the bottom of the fuel tank, which I took care of today. So it's a bit of a speed flow setup. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a lot of different ways to do it, but this seems like it should work. So like explains, the fuel pump doesn't get used anymore, and so it's a carb, because it's a carby motor, it basically needs a gravity feed, so that goes from there. And yeah, that should work well. The other thing we found as well, once we trial the motor up, the chain is just too short. So the standard Grom sprocket fits on the Zongshen motor, so you can still run a 420 chain, but had to get a new one, which hopefully is, I didn't even check how long it is, but hopefully it should be long enough to take care of that, and go from there. And then we'll get onto the brackets and getting them all fitted, and go from there once all the everything's all ready to go. Hey guys, now the next stage is to, I think, probably get the fuel tank off. So get a couple of hoses here. You got your main fuel line that goes to your injector, which has got a bit of a tricky little clip to get off, but once you do that, that's all good. And I think after that, yeah, we'll start getting all the wires disconnected from the motor, covers off, and see what happens next. We might be able to drop it out. Might have to take the rear sets off and imagine, and yeah, get it dropped out. Other than that, it's only taken about less than an hour to probably strip it to this stage and get most of the fairings off and everything else. So I think we're going to have to be, another little problem is probably have to put a plate over the fuel pump sort of hole here. And I'm going to get the fuel out of it now and see what's actually under there, and then go from there. But I think some people usually make a plate to cover that up. So we'll see what's under there. Other than that, it's all going pretty good so far. So we're getting pretty close here. I had to get the throttle cables off, whole bunch of wiring, clutch off, all the wiring for the O2 sensor, I think that is in there. There's a big plug up here, which is for the starter motor. So that all comes off, and yeah, clutch off. And on the other side, pretty much all this wiring that goes up to there, which is in that big plug, that all comes off as well. We still have to try and get this off, but I think once we drop the motor, we'll get the gear linkage off. They've got a couple of plugs for the fuel injector and throttle positioning, I'd say, sensors. And I think we're pretty close. Then there's another one for the kickstand. That went off there, kickstand sensor. which I don't think would have back on. I think we're pretty close. So now it's just a matter of probably getting the main bolts that hold them over, the two, and I think we're gonna drop out. So we'll give that a crack now and hopefully we'll have the motor out. Okay, that was a little bit tricky. The rear set, if you undo the bottom rear set on the left hand side, you can actually pivot this whole thing, and then once these bolts sort of hits on that little bit there and that one, you could once it came out, you could twist and get past that little piece there. So, and then once you've done that, you could slide your linkage off, because the gear linkage holds onto the rear set as well. So once it all steps out, you can move it out of the way, and then everything drops out and you're all good. So yeah, wiring's all out. Now we can try our new Zongshen brackets, I suppose, and wherever they are, these guys, bolt them in and make sure they fit, get the new motor up, and we're on our way. Ooh.